Imagine starting life in a tiny Scottish cottage, with your family forced to flee poverty, sailing across an ocean in search of a sliver of hope. This isn't a novel. It was the reality for Andrew Carnegie, born in Dunfermline, Scotland, in 1835, when his family immigrated to America in 1848. They landed in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, with next to nothing. His father, a skilled handloom weaver, was no match for the roaring machines of the Industrial Revolution. The burden of supporting the family fell on young Andrew's shoulders. At just 13 years old, he began his working life as a bobbin boy in a textile factory. The conditions were brutal. 12-hour shifts, 6 days a week, all for a meager $1.20. But this harsh introduction to industrial America didn't break him. It ignited a fire within him. It fueled a fierce, unrelenting ambition. He soon found a better job as a telegraph messenger. This role was a masterclass in business. To be successful, he had to memorize the faces and office locations of every major businessman in Pittsburgh. Unknowingly, he was mapping out the very arteries of American commerce, gaining an education no school could offer. This wasn't just about delivering messages. It was about understanding the network of power and money that made the city tick. He was learning, observing, and preparing for his next move. Carnegie's sharp mind and relentless drive didn't go unnoticed for long. Soon, he caught the eye of Thomas A. Scott, a powerful superintendent of the Pennsylvania Railroad. Scott hired Carnegie as his personal secretary and telegraph operator, a position that placed the young man at the very heart of 19th-century innovation. The railroad was the internet of its day, the cutting edge of technology, transport, and communication. Working side by side with Scott, Carnegie got an insider's view of how American industry really worked. He absorbed crucial lessons in management, cost-cutting, efficiency, and perhaps most importantly, the power of scale. He didn't just learn, he acted. He immediately applied these principles to his own shrewd investments. While still earning a modest salary, he began buying shares in various ventures, from bridge-building companies to promising oil wells. He was building his own small portfolio, brick by brick. When the Civil War erupted, Carnegie's role became even more critical. He was deeply involved in managing military transportation for the Union, ensuring troops and supplies moved efficiently. This high-stakes experience taught him a profound lesson he would carry for the rest of his life. Don't put all your eggs in one basket, but watch that basket carefully. He saw the immense, almost limitless, potential of heavy industry. It was during this time that he began to shift his focus away from the railroads themselves and toward the one material that would build the future of America: steel. Carnegie wasn't just an investor, he was a visionary. He understood a secret that would make him one of the richest men in the world: vertical integration. It meant controlling every single step of the production process. He wasn't just going to make steel. He was going to own the iron ore mines that supplied the raw material, the coke fields that fueled the furnaces, and the railroads that transported the finished product to market. Nothing was left to chance. He founded the Carnegie Steel Company and, through relentless innovation and ruthless efficiency, built it into the largest and most profitable industrial enterprise on the planet. He was a master of driving down costs and pushing up output. To do this, he famously hired brilliant but merciless managers, like Henry Clay Frick, whose sole job was to squeeze every drop of productivity out of the operations. This relentless drive cemented Carnegie's image as one of the Gilded Age's most successful, yet deeply controversial, titans. His pursuit of profit often came at a staggering human cost. This brutal edge of his empire was laid bare during the infamous Homestead Strike of 1892. When management, led by Frick, demanded wage cuts, the workers resisted. The dispute escalated into a violent and bloody confrontation, leaving multiple people dead. Though Carnegie was thousands of miles away, in a Scottish castle at the time, he couldn't escape the blame. He bore the ultimate responsibility. The incident forever stained his legacy, linking his colossal fortune to the exploitation, violence, and human suffering of the industrial era. By the turn of the century, at the age of 65, Carnegie faced a moral crossroads. He had amassed a fortune beyond imagination, but he was haunted by the methods used to acquire it, and by his own declaration that to die a rich man was to die disgraced. In 1901, he made a move that shocked the world. He sold the Carnegie Steel Company to the banking giant J.P. Morgan for an astonishing $480 million. In today's money, that's over $14 billion. With that single act, he transformed from an industrialist into one of history's greatest philanthropists. He dedicated the final 2 decades of his life to a philosophy he called the gospel of wealth. This doctrine was radical for its time. It argued that the wealthy had a moral duty to use their fortunes to improve society before they died. And Carnegie took this duty to heart, giving away over 90% of his wealth in amount, totaling $350 million. He believed in the power of knowledge and self-education for all. So, he funded the creation of nearly 3,000 public libraries across America, the UK, and beyond, opening doors to learning for millions. He established the Carnegie Endowment for International Peace, the Carnegie Institution for Science, and the Carnegie Corporation of New York, all of which continue to do vital work today. Andrew Carnegie passed away in 1919. He had built an empire on iron and steel, and then spent the rest of his life giving that empire away. He leaves behind a complex and monumental legacy, one of industrial ruthlessness, seemingly redeemed by radical, systematic philanthropy. But what do you think? Did Carnegie's immense generosity wash away the sins of his industrial past? Can philanthropy truly redeem the harsh practices he used to build his fortune? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. If this story of wealth, ambition, and morality fascinated you, please hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into the figures who shaped our modern world. Thanks for watching.